I am always amazed when I walk into somebody's home and they have a big collection of some sort. I know somebody who had a huge collection of like pug memorabilia, pug decor.
Okay, wow. I think the most interesting collection I've ever seen was a collection of antique pencil sharpeners. It was very unique.
That is. Well, today's show highlights a few amazing collections that we have right here in Columbus. And our first collector specializes in penny scales.
Okay, so I have no idea what those are, but I bet I'll know by the end of this next segment.
I'm pretty sure we'll both know. We met up with collector Christopher Steele to find out more.
I saw my first penny scale at the Columbus train station in 1971 and fell in love with it. I stepped onto the scale and my heart started pounding, and then I heard a voice say, "Buy all you can." So I was into mechanisms, and these are some very complicated, exquisite mechanisms inside these machines, and that captivated me. Over the years of 50 years of collecting, purchased about 200. So these are the top 100 here. This is the oldest scale in the collection, 1891, and it was out on the street in front of the arcade of the Columbus Depot, the train station. This was outside 75 years when I purchased it. I would say from 1890 to 1950 would be the bulk of the collection. There are 30 scales out of these 100 that are related to Ohio, and 10 of them were in operation in Columbus. When they first came out in 1885, they were called nickel drop devices, nickel drop weighing machines. So you had to put in 5 cents. At the time, that'd buy you 2 loaves of bread. So it was a new technology. People were excited. They were very entertaining. And then in about 3 years later, they went for the penny. The penny releases a mechanism that instigates any kind of theatrical events within the machine itself. Some talk to you, some give out movie star pictures, some give out horoscopes, some ask you if you can guess your weight. There were all kinds of gimmicks employed to get you onto that scale. And it was a primary way people got weighed until the bathroom scale became affordable. I had purchased my first scales out of the Columbus train station, and I have one over here. There were 6 scales in that main concourse, and the operator was in Pennsylvania, and I wrote him a letter, and he responded that he was coming to collect those scales. So I met him, and out of the 6, I bought 3, and this is one of them. And it's a Peerless Junior. So I'll demonstrate it. So quickly, just goes right up to your weight. Here's one of the most amazing scales as far as dials. You'll see this scale as very similar to this one, but to modernize, they covered up George Washington's face. 13-point lithograph on tin. It's exquisite. Now, you can see it here. I collect images of scales in movies. Here's Laurel and Hardy with this scale. So this was in a candy store in Pennsylvania. Oddly enough, you'd think a candy store wouldn't want a scale in there, but they do quite well. And I've known a number of them to be in ice cream parlors and candy stores. So this is one of my top 10 favorites, and it's called the Cayley Washington scale. And that was the Cayley brothers out of Detroit. And you can see their initials here, CB. But they were probably the most prolific and amazing manufacturers of all things coin-op. This is the weight teller. That was a funny story. I tried to find this scale for many years, and I was in LA, and I saw this much of it over the top of a car on my way to the LA airport, and I jumped out, and the store was closed, but I bought it when I landed in St. Louis. And this is also a Cayley brothers, and that's called the weight teller, about 1905. This is quite amazing. The Peerless people just did magnificent work, but this is porcelain enamel like on a bathtub. And you'll see throughout the collection some amazing colors in porcelain. This is about 100 years old. So over here are fine examples of mechanisms that do more than just give you your weight. They are guessers. So the idea behind these is that you would dial in what you think you weigh. And over there I weighed 160. So I'm going to put this on 160. And then I'm going to put in a penny. Now the act of turning this supplies all the power. See how they came all the way together? And then that opened a door to bring my money back instead of putting it into the cash box. And inside there is quite an amazing group of gears. I'm just really captivated by the mechanisms. Well, over here we have another way to get a free, fair weigh. And this is one of the most exciting of the scales. It's called an arcade scale. And I love the pun, fair weigh, as in golf. So you would drop your coin in. The act of getting on advances the coin onto the tee. And then the idea is you try to drive over the lake. Wow, that was lucky. Over here you have one of the most classic American penny scales, the Toledo scale. And that was in Eaton, Ohio, in the Central House Cafe. It was made famous by Rockwell on a cover of a Saturday Evening Post. All four of these Toledo scales here have great Ohio history. The Toledo here shows the influence of municipal clocks, and then came along the influence of skyscraper architecture. Mr. Peanut was at the Broad and High Peanut Shop. Then he moved out the Town and Country Peanut Shop. And then when I acquired him, he was at the State and High Peanut Shop. So he has done a lot of traveling. But the real story about Mr. Peanut is his patina. Kids would rub his nose for good luck, and that's why his nose is bare. Mr. Peanut is a downtown Columbus, Ohio legend. Definitely my top 3 scales, one of the top 3. Carrying on with the beauty of patina and the story it tells, you can see the shop owner's palm prints where he would hold on to Mr. Peanut and roll him out onto the sidewalk daily to bring people into the shop. There were only 65 made, one for each Planter's Peanut shop. Moving on to other more exciting scales are the horoscope scales that would give you a chance to ask some questions. This scale was in Columbus, Ohio, in the Olentangy Bowling Alley, up on the main floor. Oh, you could ask, who stands in my way to happiness? How can I hold my sweetheart? Is my sweetheart true? And then you would drop in a penny. The window would open, yes, while you are together. So, and here's probably one of the most beautiful mechanisms in the collection. You would, again, dial a question. There could be 3 answers to the same question. Where is my hope? So I'm going to throw the penny in so you can see it. Open the door. And up here is the answer. Time will tell. So they would change these wheels, and also the bands they would change, so there would be fresh fortunes. This scale, you would pick out the month you were born, and out would come one of 16, I think it is, 16 different answers. So this would chop off a ticket. So you would see a ticket like this, and they would bait you into wanting another one. You're fortunate because. And then you got to put in another penny to find out why. Over here we have another Columbus scale, and this came out of the men's room at the Drexel Theater. Porcelain enamel, signage, tile, the materials they used to build these are cost prohibitive today. In the 70s, there was a problem starting to occur in vandalism, which had not been a problem. And I started picking up the pace of my acquisitions because I would come back to a scale I'd been watching and it'd be broken and chipped. So I started getting as many as I could into safety before any damage. This is a Model O Peerless ticket scale. I carried this up out of the basement of the Lincoln Theater, but its last known location was Long Drug at 893 Long Street. So this is a Columbus, Ohio scale, and it would hand out a ticket of a movie star. On the back, you would get a fortune. The Peerless company paid psychologists big money to come up with these flattering words, and then it would stamp your date and weight on the back. It was a private way, very important. People were getting tired of letting everybody see their weight on the big dials. So this is a Model A Peerless ticket scale, and it was the very first one they came out with. Notice I floated down as I stood up. That just engaged all the mechanisms so it could work. So out comes Dick Powell, and you are sure to succeed in life, for you refuse to be discouraged. And also a very beautiful mechanism. It would hold 1,000 tickets. Collecting has been a 50-year effort, and I really do believe driven by a guiding voice of some kind. Hundreds of millions of people yearly got on these scales in public. I hear stories back from people who come and see the collection. I always weighed myself on this scale in this drugstore or on my way to the subway. I'm hoping to pass the baton to someone else to safeguard this national treasure for future generations to enjoy and study. It's handmade, high-quality materials by the mechanical geniuses, and the history is rich for anybody studying 20th century community life. When I first opened the doors for anyone coming to see the collection, they all pretty much dropped their jaws, which makes me feel really good because they see what I see. And I see an amazing American history of ingenuity and design.
When I think of things that people collect, I usually think of like comic books or stamps or even souvenir plates.
Yeah,
you
those
know?
smaller items,
Right.
right? But have you ever heard of people who collect steam threshers?
No. Where would you even store something like that?
I don't know, I guess in an airplane hangar maybe, someplace really huge.
Right.
In this next story, we head to the annual Miami Valley Steam Thresher Gathering in Plain City to meet a few of those collectors.
This is Steam and Gas Association. It was started over in the Miami County just outside of Troy in 1949, and this is our 70th year. It started out on a farm, a gentleman's farm just outside of Troy, Ohio. Everybody had their old steam-powered equipment that was sitting in the barn, and they decided to get out and just play with it one summer, and that created the Miami Valley Steam Thresher Association.
We're just running antique equipment like they did back in the old days, just to show the young people actually what goes on. Mainly it's just a big hobby.
Many steam engines here. There's 20 or 25 steam engines, about 300 tractors on the ground.
This is our steamroller that we have. For a surprise, I went and bought it for my dad. It's a 1925. It was actually built in Ohio in Springfield. Got it off of the Rose Brothers down there in Asheville, Rose Brothers Claving. The roll asphalt was what this one was set up for. So I just bring it around, and whenever the traction engines tear up the ground, I just go and level the ruts out and make the ground smooth again.
This is a 1912 Baker steam engine. Many of you have probably been familiar with steam locomotives. Some of them were famous for pulling trains. Steam engines were also used for powering factories and even working on farms. Let's say you want to bale hay. This was your primary source of power. What we're looking at here is the flywheel. Now, how do we get the flywheel to move? How do we run the steam engine? You need two things. You need water and coal or wood or some type of oil. Here we mainly burn coal on this steam traction engine. This is the back end of the boiler, known as the bulkhead of the boiler. Below we have what's called the firebox. When the fireman or the person responsible for stoking the boiler puts up fire into that firebox, that's going to heat up the water in this boiler. It goes through these tubes up through the smoke box. The smoke then dissipates up through the smokestack. Now we have a thing here that's called the steam dome. Now the engineer, when he pulls on that throttle, that steam is going to go up through the steam dome, through this piston, down to the drive wheel, and similar to steam locomotive. It uses so much pressure as if it were a powerful steam kettle that steam's going to go back and forth, boom, 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 making the motion and making the engine go. Now, steam traction engines, in addition to pulling cars or wagons, you could also be used to run, let's say you want to run a sawmill, or let's say you want to use it to run a hay bale, or basically an ash crop machine like you see here. And then these would be used to run conveyor belt lines like what you see in factories from the turn of the century. But you have to stand way back from it because that thing is so powerful that injuries can be involved if there's no care and safety. The best part about it for me is getting to shovel coal, running the boiler, and blowing the whistle and the throttle.
We try to restore the past to educate the future is our goal. So all the young people need to come in and get interested in this so they'll know what their ancestors done in the past to make a living and to feed the world.
People just look at it as a piece of junk iron, scrap it. And then you got all the old folks on the equipment, and when they die off, there ain't too many young people around.
So what do we have to do to get people excited about these?
Get them off video games.
Seeing the people year after year is what I like. It's a reunion. Reunion is actually in our official name, so it is a reunion annually.
I am amazed at what people collect. And in this next story, a Curious Cbus viewer tips us off to another great collection.
What is it, you may ask? A magician never reveals... I may have just given the answer away.
I think you just did. So let's reveal that story now.
WOSU's Curious Cbus answers your questions about our region, its history, and its people. We usually get questions submitted to Curious Cbus, but in this case, we got a tip. A viewer wanted to let us know that one of the greatest magic collections in the country is located right here in Central Ohio. To learn more, we visited a local dentist with a few tricks up his sleeve.
Hi, my name is Dr. Timothy Moore, and I've been interested in magic since I was 10 years old. And I started collecting the antique magic and these beautiful advertising posters for over 30 years. I also like the idea of finding rare items that other collectors and other magic enthusiasts have not seen, and it's just fun then to share with the magic community things that are going to actually blow them away. This is a poster from 1906. Harry Keller was, at the time, America's magician. And this particular piece, what he would do is, he had this beautiful woman that would come out on stage with the magician, and right in the mid part of the stage, she would instantly just disappear. And it was quite startling. He was actually doing a rendition of the Mascot Moth, which was a piece that Maskell and Devant from London was performing at the time. And unfortunately, it wasn't quite as good as the guys over in London, and it was only in the show for about 3 months, so that's why very few of these actual posters survived. And it was a year after this that Keller sold his entire show to Howard Thurston, who was a Columbus magician, for a grand total of $5,000. And so Thurston then became America's magician up until he passed in 1936. This item was given to me by an old gentleman. His father was a young lad, was asked to go on stage in 1911 here in Columbus to see Howard Thurston. And he got to meet Howard Thurston backstage after the show. And Howard Thurston gave him this piece of magic equipment. It's called a pull, and you put a pencil in here, and it's strapped to a piece of elastic that goes up your sleeve and around to the other side. And you can instantly make a pencil disappear. And his father told him that this was his most prized possession. Everybody knows who Harry Houdini is. This poster is from 1907. He came up with this idea of escaping out of a galvanized steel milk can. There are 3 known milk cans that we think belong to Harry Houdini, and they are all accounted for. I've got one, Copperfield's got one, and the American Museum of Magic in Marshall, Michigan has the 3rd one. This is an image that is widely seen in magic circles, but there's only a couple of these posters that survive. Now, Harry Houdini came to Columbus many times. This is a letter from a Columbus, Ohio packing company, 1916, and they're sending a letter to Houdini from the Keith's Theater. Harry Houdini, can you please escape out of this box that we're going to manufacture? And he did this a lot. They called it challenge letters. These are a couple pairs of handcuffs that belong to Houdini. We've got really good provenance on them. Came out of the Houdini family. And here's a picture of Harry Houdini later on in his life, and he's standing next to Harry Keller. Keller was kind of like his father figure because he had lost his father early in his life, and Harry Keller had him swear that he would never ever do the bullet catch trick. And so Harry Houdini never did. I have incorporated the magic into the practice by putting all these stone lithography images in the office. We have something that's really unique that the patients can look at, and it just takes the attention away from the dentistry a little bit. I do dentistry every day. I do the magic every day, and I feel like I'm the luckiest guy on the planet.
Do you have a question for Curious Cbus? Head to wosu.org/curious to submit your idea. your question could become the next Curious Cbus story.
Thanks for being with us, and remember you can catch all our episodes on columbusneighborhoods.org.
Plus, see our stories on the WOSU mobile app. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We'll see you back here next week on Columbus Neighborhoods.
I want to ask you to hold this cane, which actually belonged to the Harry Houdini. And here is this lock that belonged to Carl Germain. And what Germain would do is he would talk about this character, how he would break out of jail. Now let's just imagine for a moment that this is the lock that hung on the dungeon door. He would wait until the moon started across the evening sky. And of course, back then in 1600, there was no electricity. It was so dark, you literally couldn't see your hand in front of your face until the moon reached a point where it intersected that little tiny window about 30 feet in the air, and like a spotlight, that light would come in, and Faust would, with his fingers, a shape like a key, and put it into that light, and then he would angle his fingers in such a way that it looked like the shadow key was coming closer and closer to the lock until at some point it looked like it actually entered the lock. That's when Faust would take his fingers and turn his fingers as if he's inside the lock with the key itself. Right at the top of the turn, he would break out of jail. And that's how it was done.